For a girl, you're pretty good. I always got that compliment, and I took it as a backhanded compliment because I wanted to be great, period.
We already knew you were a Hall of Famer, but now it's official.
Yeah, for TNA to do that for me, I was incredibly honored.
Who was Alexis Lurie?
I had no idea who she was. I was just trying to be everything I thought the most awesome female wrestler could be.
You are still an active wrestler.
Technically. I never officially retired. There's always that part inside of you that, oh, you could do one more.
Could you do one more?
I could do 10 more.
You and Trish stole the show at WrestleMania 22.
Surreal. I had envisioned being women's champion, and then it came at WrestleMania.
There's a moment you do a certain gesture.
Yes.
What was the reaction to this?
I thought I was going to get the biggest hug of a lifetime. It's not what happened. That was high and then humbled.
What's the next high after that?
Until the Rumble, when I went back as the Knockouts World Champion.
You're the bridge between the Divas era and what we have now.
That's what I want. I wanted to be the greatest women's champion of all time. I can't do that if I'm just a diva. They said, make yourself at home, and I did.
Well, make yourself at home. It's so good to see you.
So good to see you too.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hall of Famer.
Crazy.
Look, we already knew you were a Hall of Famer, but now it's official.
Yeah, it is official. It's crazy. It's crazy to even say Hall of Famer.
How does it feel?
I got to change it in my bio.
Yeah.
It feels amazing. I think it's like I'm super humbled, and I think, you spend your whole career trying to be humble and all that other stuff, and it's like the one night you can kind of like pat yourself on the back, but it's super uncomfortable to do it, but still it's always incredible, I think, when you're recognized for your contributions to the company or to any business, and for TNA to do that for me, I was incredibly honored,
Well, for so long, people looked at the Knockouts division in TNA and they went, nobody has women's wrestling like TNA.
Yeah.
And you were a huge part of that.
Thank you. I feel like TNA has always been one to give the Knockouts a chance. Like, they really did believe in the women and recognize that they were getting better ratings and they were doing all these things. And also, I think back to like even the first time I was there with Jeff, and to be able to do all these first time ever, like the first ever woman to do the Clockwork Orange House of Fun match, and we beat the crap out of each other. And but that was unheard of at the time. It was just, it's been wild. It's wild to me.
You were on the very first TNA show.
Yeah.
So take me back to that very first show 23 years ago, 2002.
I think for me at the time, I was so young and still new in the business, but I was starting to get really good, and as far as there weren't as many women training to be wrestlers. So as far as female wrestlers that were up and coming, I was being called like one of the better ones, and so, but I still had so much to learn. You like think back and I was like, God, I was so green. I had no idea what I was doing, or even could even fathom at the time, like an opportunity like that, what it was going to do for me now, or where we are now, and that was just kind of the first step of like that journey. But I just was excited to get an opportunity to be seen, and as lingerie battle royal, I was like, sure. And I could go out there and it's going to be on pay-per-view, and it's this young upstart company, and everybody's excited about it. Cause especially as, an independent performer, and you're making nothing, and just like that exposure, what that could do for you, but also the opportunity to have like another place, hopefully for us to all go and grow. And you could already feel in the building that there was so much excitement and love behind it. So yeah, it was crazy, but I had no idea what I was doing.
It's just kind of crazy to think back that your debut in TNA was a lingerie battle royal.
Crazy.
But
Just like tell of the times, though.
Right. Speaks to the time. And I mean, the company was called TNA. Yes,
right.
Total nonstop action, but like...
It was implied.
Of course.
Yes. I mean, we had ladies dancing in cages. One of my dear friends still to this day, Jamie Pop, Shero, she was one of the cage dancers, but also wrestled, later. But yeah. So
who was Alexis Lurie?
I had no idea who she was. I had no idea who she was at the time. I was just trying to be everything I thought the most, awesomest female wrestler at the time could be. I mean, I went through so many phases of like, which I still have these like LOD shoulder pads that I was doing with my kick pads and all this. And then for that, I was just trying to it was lingerie. I was like, okay, what can I wear cute and lingerie, sexy, but also wrestle, but I want to be serious wrestler out there and show that I can be a real wrestler. Yeah, I didn't know who I was. I was trying to figure that out.
But isn't that such an interesting thing that you're trying to figure out who you are,
Mhm.
and then it comes right back around to your Mickie James, your
Yeah.
actual name?
And even getting that opportunity to use my real name was a whole, that's a whole other story. And
How'd
of
that
when
come
I
about?
actually debuted in WWE, because I was Alexis Lurie. I got to go there and I did the Gathering. The Gathering was another whole thing. I had to be a goth character. I had to like look it up. I bought forever, like, what was it, Hot Topic at the time?
Sure.
Out of every fishnet they had, every skirt, t-shirt. I was like, I'll wet my hair, I guess. I don't know what is goth. It wasn't my jam, but it worked. It worked. Yeah.
You were just trying to fit in, right? So this is a
Yeah.
faction with Raven. You're trying
And
to.
what an opportunity for me to be able, the fact that, he, after that lingerie battle royal, I didn't hear from TNA or anything for a while. And then it was Raven when he was working with CM Punk at Ring of Honor, and they were doing like this dog collar match, or like they were doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And then he saw me. I guess was I wrestling Becky Bayless maybe, or, with Special K. And then there was all these like Alice in Danger. He saw me that night and he's like, hey, you can really go for a girl. Like, for a girl, you're pretty good, which I always hated. I always hated that. Oh, you're pretty good for a girl. It's like, that is a stigma I'm going to change. That was early on, because I always got that compliment, and I know it was meant to be a wonderful thing, and it was meant with love, but I took it as a backhanded compliment because I didn't want to be good for a girl. I wanted to be great, period.
Yeah.
I want it to be as good, if not better, than the boys, because that's who I was training with. And so that they were who I considered my competition, because there wasn't a lot of females out there to compare myself to, except for the ones that were already where I wanted to be, So anyway, I was like, thanks, but it was his. He's like, do you think you could do a goth? I'm thinking of this idea with TNA. And I was like, oh, TNA. I was excited again. And yeah, he's like, do you think you could do a goth character, or would you be interested? And I was like, oh my God, yeah.
That's
yeah,
that
absolutely.
idea of say yes to everything, right?
Say yes to everything. Unless in your gut and your heart, if it immediately goes, ooh, if it does that, then it's a no. It's never going to work. If it goes, ooh. But for that, I was like, oh, I can't believe. And then the opportunity to sit and listen to him put together these matches, and why these in-betweens, because I was still that light bulb hadn't even began to click yet. I'm just trying to be great at wrestling, but to sit there and listen to him put these matches together, and how they would do it, and why they would do it, and how they would do all these like little magical parts of it, not to expose too much, but it just blew my mind. And I was able to sit underneath there and learn from him, and learn from Julio, who was already my brother from MCW, because that's where, I really started to break out from, and then Punk. And that's where I really, from Ring of Honor, and then to get to work alongside Punk, and it was really cool. It was so, so cool. But anyway, so fast forward back to the Mickie James story. Lots of stories.
So many stories.
We won't tell them all.
This is why we love you.
We won't tell them all. The Mickie James, how Mickie James came about was from OVW. I was Alexis Lurie in OVW. And that kind of, I just love the name Alexis, and Lurie is my legit middle name. So that's how that name came about. But I'm about to debut in this crazy stalker character. And Vince is like, what's her name? Alexis Lurie. I don't like that name. It sounds like a stripper name. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess it does, doesn't it? Yeah, okay. I was like, oh. And he's like, well, got anything else? What else do you want to, got any other names? And I'm like, I don't know. I was like, Mickie James. And I love it. Love it. I didn't say, oh, it's my real name until I was like, oh, okay, great. It's my, okay. I was like, so I was able, and probably one of the last few people to actually be able to use their real name. I was able to use my real name.
Wow.
Crazy. And how grateful I am for that.
So the original pitch for the stalker gimmick was you and Lita, right?
That's how I wrote it. And I wrote it, well, when I wrote this, I won't say I wrote this whole story. Obviously, there was so many people, the writers and Trish, obviously. And I wrote the original pitch that I had wrote for this character, this crazy kind of super fan, was for Lita. And because I had, I was friends with Lita, where I felt like she was really a mentor to me in a lot of ways. Like when I was doing the independents and up and coming, I worked in the Carolinas a lot. That whole mid-Atlantic area, that's kind of like was my home base almost. And then started to go more Northeast. But if she was ever at a show or she was ever close, she would come, she would watch these and she would give me advice. And like that advice still reigns true today. And she just helped me a lot. And I think she looked out for me. And I think she fought for me even in getting my job. You know, I think she always like was really, really great to me. And so I felt comfortable asking her if I could pick, because I was like, I have an idea for this kind of wild character. It's crazy. It's different. And I asked her if it was okay if I pitched it with her in mind, because you can't just go out there willy-nilly pitching like storylines for, you know, anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Rock, like I'm going to come in and, you know, do this thing. It's going to be great. Right.
Yeah.
But so I asked, and she was like, oh, of course. You know, so then I wrote it and I sat down and I wrote like 18 weeks of TV of like this character and how she's going to be like. She's super fan. She's so excited to be there. She grew up, you know, all she wanted to do was be a wrestler because of her idol and this. And I came up with it because we have so many, you think of fandom as a whole, and I think wrestling has some of the most passionate fans out of any sport in the world, in my opinion. And, but you also hear of all these crazy stories, and it was like that movie Single White Female was out. And then you think of Selena and like these kind of stories of like how these fans can get so overzealous and like just become problematic.
Yeah.
You know? And, but in their mind, they're not doing anything wrong. They're just trying to show love, you know? So I was like, that's, you know, I think I can do that in my range. And I think I was taking acting classes in OVW and trying to do all that stuff too on the side to just kind of get my range down. And anyway, yeah. So pitched it with Amy, and then they loved it and they really liked the idea. And I think we had TV and like, because when we were in OVW, we'd travel around. I think they had TV in Cincinnati or something like that. And I'm sitting back there and Michael goes, hey, we saw Michael Hayes, P.S. Hey, we read that idea you had. And he's like, it was pretty good. And I was like, really? Okay, great. He's like, yeah. He goes, Vince loved it. And I was like, oh, okay, great. He's like, yeah, you should go tell him that you wrote it and that's yours. And you know, nobody can play it like you. And, you know, I was like, okay. So and then even throughout the day, as you know, you're sitting there walking around on eggshells, trying to be seen, but also unseen. Every time he's like, did you talk to him yet? And I'm like, no, like just talk to Vince, like, hey, hi Vince.
Yeah.
So, I literally waited outside of his office after the show. And I was like, I'm going to wait outside his office. That was the advice I got. Like, I just wait outside his office after the show. And I felt like I was sitting there for an eternity for him to come back. And, yeah. And I did just that. I walked into his, like, I was like, oh, Vince, do you have a moment? Would like to chat with you. And he had no clue who I was or what I was doing. All right. I walk in and I was like, I did exactly what Michael told me to do. I said, Vince, Mickie James from OVW, and I heard you read my storyline idea, and I heard you really liked it. And I just want you to know that I wrote her. I know her. She is me. And there's no one that can play that character like me. And I could just, the confidence that came out of my mouth in that moment, I don't know if it translated the way I thought, but like I felt like it was so confident, but it was so fake. Like I was dying on the inside. I was like, I'm sweating. My palms are sweating. My knees are shaking. He's an intimidating man, right? Like, especially for me, who was just like, this man has the power to give me my dreams or not.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And he goes, okay. He goes, takes a lot of balls, kid. And I was like, thanks. Thank you. I was like, okay, well, that was it. And I was like, I hope you have a great night. Thanks so much. And then I walked out and I wanted to throw up. And yeah. And then that was that. And then I didn't hear anything back for like 6 months. And I was like, oh God, what did I do?
Yeah.
Damn it, Michael.
I ruined it.
I'm fired. I'm so fired. Yeah. And then they brought me in and they were like, hey, we're going to do that character. We want to do that character. And I was like, okay, cool. He was like, yeah, but we're going to do it with Trish. And I was like, I didn't know Trish. I'd met her and she was always pleasant. She was always amazing. Backstage during these tryouts and during any of the time in my time of trying out and then also being in OVW for like 2.5 years. Never really had a full conversation with her. And yeah, the way she embraced it and embraced me, and we're still best of friends every day. Like, she was the first person to FaceTime me after because she was getting her own Hall of Fame. We joke, I'm like, it was like your 20th Hall of Fame award. Get it? I tried to say 2, and she's like, actually, it's a little more, but that's it's okay. I was like, all right, I got to add a 0.
I feel like it's just a matter of time before you're in the WWE Hall of Fame.
I hope one day.
I mean,
some would say I'm too young to be in the Hall of Fame.
Ooh, well, you are still an active wrestler.
Technically.
Yes.
I've never lost the championship. Yeah, I had to vacate it. And then, I never officially retired. No one ever actually ended the last rodeo.
There it is. But when you look at your career, this is the career of a Hall of Famer. There's no question.
So grateful. I mean, to be honest with you, there's always that part inside of you that, you could do one more. Like, it's the feeling and the love that you get out there. There's no feeling.
Could you do one more?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I could do 10 more. No, but it's also with the career that I've been so blessed to have and the moments that I've been able to have and the people that I've been able to work with, I could retire tomorrow and be a happy woman, right? Like, I don't have anything else, I think, to prove in the wrestling business. But I also love it, and there's nothing like it. And I've done, I've been able to act in films. I've been able to do music and perform on stages and alongside mega names and stuff like that, which is also incredible. But there's nothing like performing in front of a live wrestling audience when they are especially when they're so invested in your story, in that story. And they're because it's the emotion, that's what we live for. That's the art of this dance that we do.
You joke that you're too young to be in the Hall of Fame, and like you've aged like 14 minutes in the last 25 years, which is amazing.
I thought you were going to say in the last 20 minutes.
But like, I think you solidified your Hall of Fame career after the first WWE run. Like, it's what you did in TNA, what you did in WWE, and I feel like, no?
I don't.
After the next TNA run, what do you think?
I think what I was able to accomplish with the last rodeo solidified. It validated me. It vindicated me. My first WWE run, I was able to have some amazing moments, but I think it was cut short. I think I had a lot more to do in WWE, and the timing and my own life and professionally and personally, I needed to go away, I think. So it was unfortunate, but I think my first tenure was cut really, really short. And especially when I look at opportunities, because we all make mistakes and we all live and learn. I think about comparatively like mistakes other people perhaps were making, and when you try to compare it, and that's where I had to like take my own ego and stop comparing, because you can't compare careers, you can't compare anything, because we're all individuals, right? So I was not satisfied. I would have been very unhappy. I think I would have been disgruntled, and I would have hated the business if I would have ended my career after my first run. I would have been all that work, all that dedication, everything, to really, it would have been unfulfilled. And then I would have had a chip on my shoulder. Because when I left, I had a chip on my shoulder because I felt like they didn't have to fire me, But that's, you live and learn. I was also young and making mistakes, as we all do. And
do you feel fulfilled now?
I feel so fulfilled now. I feel so fulfilled. Not only that, it was, if I think about that now, and that was that me in the moment. So I'm speaking me in the moment, 27, 30-year-old Mickie James, If I hadn't even have left, not only like part of healing, my healing journey and all that stuff, but I would have never met my husband. I would never have my beautiful son. And when I left WWE the first time and I was in this reset, trying to refine myself and redefine myself, and then I meet Nick, and that story and that chapter opens, and then obviously Hardcore Country is born in that same, so that is all, and then I wouldn't be here today or sitting in front of you as a Hall of Famer.
The NFL season is in full swing. The World Series is here, and John Cena has just 4 dates left on his retirement tour. SeatGeek has the tickets for all these, and that's why I want to give a huge shout out to them for sponsoring this video. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, WWE, sports, festivals, and more. John Cena's final match ever is happening in Washington, D.C. Check this out on the SeatGeek app. They've got your back here. Every ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know if you're getting a good deal or not. Look for the green dots there. Green means good, red means bad. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And I'm gonna get you an extra 10% off with the code CVV2025. So that's 10% off any tickets at SeatGeek with that code CVV2025. Make sure to click the link down below in the description to download the SeatGeek app, and then that code will automatically be applied for John Cena's final match or whatever event that it is that you happen to be going to. Huge shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this one. Who's Hardcore Country? For people who might not be familiar.
Hardcore Country is me. That's me. I think it's, that's why that was the opportunity finally, like just step authentically. I didn't have to be anything else but me. And that's who I'm most comfortable out there being. And obviously the volume's turned all the way up and she's not as vulnerable, maybe sometimes, as me personally, but man, she's the girl next door. She's the girl with a dream. And willing to put in the work, more work, work harder, for her opportunities, and sometimes doesn't always get the credit that she deserves, and she's not gonna stop, and she's not gonna quit. Yeah, she's everybody.
Pretty great theme song too.
She's
Hardcore Country.
Do you know who that is?
Who is it?
Serge Salinas.
Is this like
Dixie Carter's husband, Serge Salinas? Thank you, Serge. Thank you, Dale Oliver, who God, there's 1,000 thank yous in that speech I didn't get to. We all sat down together and created, Dale and I, wrote the song, create the song, and that is Serge hollering Hardcore Country.
I thought it was so interesting in your Hall of Fame speech that you thanked the haters.
Got to.
Why was that important to you?
I think because, I think a lot of people let the haters get to them.
Yeah.
And I think, we talk about a lot about social media and how it can affect you. And I think that's a way that I've always been able to remember that if you don't have haters, then, people want to hate on other people's successes, especially when they are too fearful or have made excuses not to go after their own dreams, right? Or have not been held themselves accountable for their own screw ups. Like there's so many levels to it, but.
Well, they're just comfortable. That's a lot of it.
Brother comp,
I heard a great quote that I will never forget. It's that people aren't afraid of the unknown. They are afraid of the loss of the known. And it's like, you're afraid of like leaving this because know this. Yes.
Yeah. And people are also afraid to fail.
Yeah.
They're so afraid to fail. I can't tell you how many times I've failed,
And if you didn't fail
forward, you got to fail forward.
If you didn't fail, you wouldn't be where you're at right now.
It's not failure. It's learning.
Right. It's not win or lose. It's win or learn.
Yeah, totally. And I think, those are hard lessons to learn, especially, it's a lot easier to say that to me now than it was to say that to me at 20. And I think it's like, as you get older, you learn to separate your ego from things because you have to, because otherwise their pride gets in the way of so many things. And it has for me. I'm as guilty of it as anybody, but I had to acknowledge the haters because I think that they were a catalyst in my success. Because if nothing else, I am very competitive. And I've been told no, and I've had all these, mountains I felt like I've had to climb in my life. And those people those haters, those people telling me I couldn't have a thing that I desired gave me so much fuel because I love to prove people wrong.
How do you not take what the haters are saying and let it get to you?
I won't say you don't let it get to you. There's been moments, obviously, some things people say that kind of hits close to home and, check, yourself or even your accountability with that, whatever. However, you have to remember that a lot of times haters are coming from a different place, and I think it's like a fear base or like if they're scared to go, like I said, scared to go after their own dreams or jealousy. It comes It comes from a place that is really more about them than it is about you, you know? And that's kind of how I've separated. And also, I prayed for this. I prayed for the fame. I prayed for the glory. I prayed for the accolades. And with that, the other side comes too. And you have to know that. So if you want this, you have to know that that's going to, the light doesn't come without the dark. And you have to be able to embrace them both, right?
Is it difficult when that's then worked into a storyline? Like you have the storyline with Michelle McCool and Piggy James, where it's like, it's bullying and it's haters, and now it's magnified on TV every week.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially at a time in my career where I felt like I was being kind of punished on a professional level. And, you know, so I wasn't sure how much of that was like, does the company truly think this about me? Is someone saying this like in creative and they just think it's funny and let's see how this plays out on TV? Or is this just a storyline? And like, I think if nothing else, that's where I had to put my ego aside. And I was like, you know what? I don't care what I'm going to do because this is powerful and we've all been bullied and there's been moments. And there's just a story right now of this little girl, Sophia, in middle school, like in the town over from where we live right now, who just committed suicide over bullying, and she's 11 years old, right? So you think about that, and you think about the cases of suicide and all these things of like people really getting bullied. And I think it was really coming to light at that time because social media was becoming a thing. So it was really starting to come to light how this can affect people, especially affect people who weren't mentally capable of deciphering, like young children. And you can't.
But no one was looking at you on WWE TV at that time and
going, she's fat.
Yeah,
I was a little thicker, I will say.
God, you were in incredible shape.
Thank you. And maybe it was the cargos. I thought the cargos looked so cute. I was like, was it? Maybe it was the whiskey. I don't know. Anyway, probably number 2.
Whiskey girl?
Not anymore.
I just love that song. Toby Keith?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But she, so that was
Michelle
different.
McCool credits you, though, for putting her
Absolutely.
over. Yes.
Absolutely. I think, well, it took all of us because for them, too, they had to be the bad guys in that situation and be okay being the bad guys, which I think a lot of people still struggle with because, as performers, you're like trying to be loved and trying to this, so to be hated, to be a heel. I love it. But you have to be okay being hated, but also for them to be able to go out there, her and Layla both, and do all of these things and then have to take on all the hate from the fans for doing these hateful things, and really embrace it. It was a lot. And I think we all three of us, I think we all struggled with it, doing it in the moment. And I was like, no, what we're going to do is we're going to go out there and we're going to make it gold and we're going to make it better than they ever expected. And it did. And not only did it like really land in the hearts of a lot of people, I have people that still come to me about that whole story and how much it helped them. And I'm sure Michelle and Layla have the same, but it helped launch Lay Cool. I think they were looking for something to turn them into monster heels because there wasn't really a strong heel on that, especially on SmackDown or whatever in the female division. And they wanted to really get some hot steam behind them. And they chose me to do that. And I should be honored. I should be honored that they believed in me enough to be able to help in that story, so there's a lot of conflicting things on there, but
what was the hardest part about that? Because they're like pouring stuff on you and like, there's food all over you. Was that difficult?
Oh, yeah. I think the hardest part for me was because I was so insecure at that moment, was trying to figure out whether if this was a real thing of how the company felt about me or if it wasn't, or if this was just for show. But also tapping into other hurts and pains, like that's what I used in there to come up, to cry and to do all these things. But also took it as a challenge because I was like, I'm really going to step into this role and just test my acting skills to the best. I've done the crazy. Now this sympathetic character of this massive vulnerability to show that on television and to really dive into that type of emotion and really pull off of real feelings to do that. So it was a challenge.
Who would you say is your biggest rival?
Of all time?
Yeah.
Oh, Trish. For sure. Every day, all day. Even still. And I think about, when we've not had really a chance to do a whole bunch of it, but even like that Rumble moment or like all that where we had a chance and the people just erupted. And I think that says it all. That says it all. And that was such a validation that what we did then still holds true and still connects today.
You and Trish stole the show at WrestleMania 22.
Thank you.
And you get to win and become women's champion for the first time.
Surreal.
So it's like, not only are you getting this WrestleMania match with Trish, on top of that, you're getting the championship.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. It was surreal. I always say if I could take my emotion that night and like bottle it up, I'd be so rich.
If you could put that emotion into one word, what is it?
Oh, God. I don't have a word. I don't think there is a word to like even begin to explain. I think when you think about the knocks and everybody's journey is different of like what it took to get to that moment in my own life, in my own career and everything, all the things that it took to just finally get and the thing that I had envisioned it and prayed for it and all the things of like being women's champion. And then it come to that and being even better than what you ever could anticipate to be at WrestleMania. Like it was like all these gifts came at one time. I'm like, it was unbelievable. I still get chill bumps now, so far removed from it. I still can get chill bumps and I still can tap into like how much love and emotion and just pure raw, like gratitude was in that whole all of it. I was so lost in it.
You can see it before the match even starts.
Yeah.
When you go out there and you're posing, you can just see, you're just like beaming.
I am in it.
Yeah.
I am like, I'm lost. I lost myself that night. Like I was like out of body experience. Sometimes I think back and I was like, who is this crazy woman? I was committed.
There's a moment in that WrestleMania match with Trish where you do a certain gesture.
Yes.
What was the reaction to this gesture?
It was not good. I mean, the people loved it.
The people loved it.
The reaction on camera, the people, in my opinion, I made the right choice, in my humble opinion. That crazy. I did not what I expected.
So what went into this?
So I had asked Steve Kern. Steve Kern was our agent as well. Fit always Steve Kern. I had asked Steve Kern, can I lick my finger? Because we had already we're going to do the crotch grab spot. We're going to ha ha ha. So we knew we were going to do the vag grab, right?
The vag grab.
You think about the whole story. I have pretended to be Trish. I have accused her boyfriend of terrible crimes. I have kidnapped Ashley Massaro. I have stalked her in the shower, her home. I have done many things. Tried to kiss her numerous occasions, access denied. So here we're at WrestleMania and I'm like, all the things that we've done to lead to this. And they want this moment, I'm like, okay. I felt like that was that's what anybody would have done in that moment, in the moment, after all that. Finally you got, I don't know. I'm not going to go there. It's just a little crass. That's a little too crass even for me. But I also thought, so I had asked if I could lick my finger. Clearly that's not what I did. It's not what I did. He's like, well, lick your finger. Like, I was like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm grabbing, like, wouldn't I? I've been trying to get my hands on her, on all of, forever. Like, this would be my dreams come true, right? Can I? And he's like, oh, I will see. So he's like, I went away and he comes back and he goes, yeah, okay. I think you can lick your finger. It's fine. Whatever. Sorry, Steve Kern. And yeah, so that's not what I did. And I did this. Actually, I think it was more like this. It was a double. So they made sure they saw it because my hands aren't big enough, obviously, so it did both. Dude. And I thought I was, in my heart and in my soul, I honestly believed I was going to walk back through that curtain, and I had never received a high five. I'd seen other women get high fives from Vince and thumbs up and all these things. I got thumbs up before. I got a few thumbs up. I thought I was going to get the biggest hug of a lifetime and fist bumps, something, maybe even a hoist on a shoulder out the door or something for being so brilliant. It's not what happened at all. Go back through the curtain and Vince is pissed. He's like, that was crass. Do you know what we're going to have to do? How much money it's going to cost to edit that and to pull it from we're a publicly traded company. What are you thinking? And I was like, so if you can imagine the high of a lifetime being like, and then walking through and they just shanked right through the curtain. I was like, oh, unbelievable. It was, so it didn't turn out. But clearly he didn't hate me too much because I still was the champion and I still got to do. So maybe deep down he really loved it.
But that footage is awesome. Nowhere to be found.
You can't find it. Or at least not in the WWE vault. You can't find it. You can find it.
Some grainy footage on YouTube.
Grainy YouTube footage that's been taped over a VHS, double taped. And someday you probably won't ever be able to find it again.
When you went home that night, so you're talking about you riding the high of being out there winning the championship match with Trish Stratus, to then the low of going through the curtain and being chewed out, you go back to the hotel that night.
Humbled. Immediately humbled because it was like high of high and then humbled. That's my whole career. A career of being humbled. But
is it also like okay, maybe I shouldn't try things? Like, are you in that moment, like just trying to walk on eggshells for the next little while?
Well, now I'm like, now I'm the champion. Are they going to take the championship off me? Or how mad is he? Like, am I going to lose this tomorrow at Raw? Or, and I didn't. And I would think, I won't say I was devastated. I mean, it was a little bit because I thought it was going to be awesome and I thought it was a moment and I was like, oh, this moment's going to live forever in WrestleMania history and it's going to be awesome and there's going to be me and Trish and it does, but in a different way.
It lives in infamy.
So maybe, in infamy for sure. I mean, I think it was, I was still high in the moment, but I was defeated. I felt really, cause like,
Hey, quick timeout from this episode to tell you about the CVV Micro Brawler. I don't know why that's the voice that I came up with for the Micro Brawler, but have you ever noticed the CVV Micro Brawler that sits right there behind me in every single one of these shots? Yes, these are available. We've got the regular edition here with the CVV Grateful t-shirt and the very limited edition Chase variant with the special Back to the Future t-shirt. Man, I love that t-shirt so much. CVVmerch.com is where you can grab one of those. Check them out at CVVmerch.com. There's only a limited number of both of these, of the Grateful t-shirt and the Back to the Future t-shirt. So when they're gone, they're gone. Grab them at CVVmerch.com, or maybe he should say it here. Grab them at CVVmerch.com.
I feel like a lot of careers, not just wrestling, a lot of careers in general is high, and then you kind of string a bunch of highs along, right? So what's
highs and lows, dips. It dips.
Right.
Well, it's got to.
What's the next high after that? Where do you go to from there?
From WrestleMania to
WrestleMania, first women's championship.
Yeah. I'll say, another cool moment, and I've had so many, it's hard to think, but I think winning the championship from Beth Phoenix in England for the first time on television. I know it crossed, but for the first time that I could ever remember, certainly of that generation or whatever, for the women's championship to change hands over outside of the country, outside of the United States of America, and to do that in England. And it, also got the cover of the DVD, like that official box set stuff that was out there. And that's, and that whole story with Beth, like she was one of my favorite opponents ever. I think too, because I had Beth's first ever match, that she ever had in a wrestling ring, in front of people, to all the way there, and our careers and passions that, for so long. It's crazy, but that was really, really cool. It's hard to define because nothing could compare to that moment. That was the moment. And then everything, I think all the stuff after that, I guess, was work to try to maintain and still be seen or stay in the picture, or, your own insecurities start creeping in or whatever. But I certainly had some awesome moments or whatever, but nothing ever kind of compared to that moment until, aside like from my son being born, stuff like that. Until the Rumble, when I went back to Knockout as the Knockouts World Champion. I think that was, I won't say it was equal, but it was different.
You truly crossed the line with that one. Like, for at that point in time, and people may not realize this, there was no relationship with WWE
Zero.
and TNA.
No.
Is it true?
Aside from sometimes there might have been like, hey, can we like footage shared?
Sure.
Or something. You might have seen a glimpse of TNA footage in a package. Very rare.
Is it true Vince didn't know where you were working at that point in time? So he wanted you in the Rumble. And someone was like, well, she's kind of the Knockouts champion right now. And I think it was like, well, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
I said, who told you that one?
I'm actually
You
not
heard
sure.
through the grapevine.
This is the story I heard.
Oh, wonderful.
Of like they're in a meeting and like they're like, well, we need some nice surprises in the Women's Rumble.
Yeah.
How about Mickie James? Well, might be difficult because she works somewhere else, and they figured it out.
Yeah. That makes me happy that he would, because even the day of like the whole trash bag incident, we talk about that. Like everybody called me, obviously everybody. And I was in the middle of a photo shoot as like I posted the picture. Did I tell you this? I've told you this.
Yeah, why was
story.
it important to you to post that photo?
I don't know if it was important to me to post that photo.
But you could have just texted someone and been like,
what the frick?
Yeah.
Because I don't think I wasn't as offended as the fans were when it happened, because I don't think you realize how many times we've been offended, or I just had stopped. I'm so numb to getting my feelings hurt, or like I'm so used to like, oh, you got to separate your ego from it and don't take it personal. It's just business. It's fine. So I posted it in because I'm a sarcastic person. And if I was to be honest, I got 2 boxes with 2 trash bags, and I still have the trash bags because I'm keeping them, receipts. No, but I think it was important for a couple reasons. Well, one, because I'm a smart ass and it was sarcastic, and I remembered in 2010 when I got my stuff back, and I got it the same way. And 2010 me was devastated. And 2010 me was like, oh my God, they think I'm trash. They hate me. Like they're throwing me out with the trash. Oh, like nothing I did mattered. Like, you know what I mean? I took it real personal. This time I didn't take it personal. I'm like, of course, like on par. Don't think, like thoughtless. It's not about, it was intent. It's more about the lack of thought of how you're so disposable. That's how, and I was like on par of sometimes how this game makes you feel, And so I kind of posted it like that. Like I was literally excited to get the box only because it had all my jackets in there, and I'm getting ready to walk out the door to do this photo shoot with Chapel Hart for our single that's coming out and do all this other stuff. And so I'm like, oh, my jackets. I'm so excited. And I open it. I'm like, mother. Of course. No, did that. And then as I'm driving, I posted it and I was like, yeah, there. Like,
and then Vince called you.
And then Hunter called me, Stephanie texted me, Johnny called me, everybody called me, right? Like, and, I feel like that. I feel bad. I still feel bad for Mark Carrano, who got fired for it, because Mark was always good to me. Mark took care of me when I was there. He was probably one of my dear actual friends sometimes there. And so he's the one who got fired, but it was just a testament to like, that was like a company thing of like, they just didn't really think, of how that would affect, especially if you are already in a bad place. When you talk about mental health and all these things.
And one of the worst days of your life.
Worst day of your life, whatever.
Worst day of your career for sure.
Totally, especially if it's like the first time you lost, now you're on there's always an opportunity to have a second time or a third time. Yeah, you realize that. But then,
in that moment, you've lost your dream
you're
job.
devastated.
Yeah.
You're devastated.
And your stuff has arrived in a trash bag.
Totally. And so, and then the other people came out and be like, oh, of course it did. Because that was just like how it was done. We have these massive drawers full of all of our stuff for the road. We got lots of just in case outfits. And so ship them. And I don't think anybody else will get their stuff that way anymore. So that's fine.
You changed it.
Yeah. I don't think they come in Gucci bags, but they certainly don't come in hefty bags. It's crazy. It was crazy to see. And then as the fans are responding and like whatever, because I'm halfway through the shoot, and then all of a sudden I look at my phone, my phone's blown up, and I'm doing all this stuff. I'm like, what? I was like, oh my God. I didn't even realize I should have been offended. I'm so used to being like, suck it up, buttercup, that I didn't even think about that side of how offensive it actually was. And how would they, not to compare, stuff like that, but I don't know. Would they have done that to someone that they thought highly of, And so I was like, oh, I guess I should be offended. Like I kind of did it, out of sarcasm, but you're right. This is kind of bullshit. But yeah, but Vince called me and I spoke to him on the phone. And so that was what I was getting to as I ramble on. Vince called me and we spoke on the phone in the middle. I called him. He was the one person I actually did call back in the middle of that shoot because I was like, Vince has never called me before. So, and he was like, left me a voicemail or a voice note actually, where he's like, because my voicemail box was full. And he was like, your voicemail box is full, by the way. I was like, oh no, I can't win with this man. Yeah, but he was genuine. He's like, I've never thought that of you. And I've always thought highly of you. And I'm so sorry that happened. And that person is not here anymore. And then I was like, oh no, felt bad, Mark Rana. I was like, God, and I was even honest with him. I was like, I don't think that you ever felt that way. And I said, but Vince, sometimes I did feel that. And I don't think it was you personally. And he was always good to me, gave me more opportunities, gave me my dream and all that stuff. But I also didn't think he was sometimes aware of the other things or like how we feel in those moments, because you can't just go run into Vince and talk about how you feel, So.
But then within that same year, you're in the Rumble.
Yeah. And that was a massive moment for me because so then after all of that, and then, so I knew it wasn't a personal thing. That was kind of my point and all that. And then I was very grateful that he even took the time to call me and to apologize and to really talk to me and tell me that he valued me. Because I think that was something that I always wanted to hear. And so that meant a lot. It meant a lot to me. And then, so then they wanted me to come back for the Rumble, and I was with TNA at the time, but not technically I wasn't technically under contract, but I was the Knockouts champion. And when they called and asked me and talked to me about it, and I kind of was like, I'm only going to do it if I can be me. I'm Knockouts champion. I'm TNA Knockouts champion, and I'm Hardcore Country. And Hardcore Country was something I always wanted to present in front of a WWE audience, but I never had an opportunity to try, so it was a cool opportunity to do that and to show them that this would have worked and it would have been awesome, but also to shine a light on TNA and the Knockouts division, and a division that I think was the true catalyst of the women's revolution, of a division that always gave their women an opportunity before it was cool, before it was catchy, before it was trendy, before it was a hashtag, they've always done that, So, and it was to take care of a company that always took care of me and bridge a gap that I think always needed to be bridged, because especially when you look at the WWE roster right now, and a lot of the folks that are in that roster, a lot of them had a journey here at TNA as well. So, yeah, it was cool.
You were the bridge between two eras, really. Like, you're the bridge between the Divas era and like what we have now.
Yeah. Wild. This is wild.
Yeah, crazy to think about that.
Yeah, I think even the era, like I was fortunate enough to come in they had started calling it the Divas era or whatever, but it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was on the tail end because Lita was still there. Trish was still there of that golden era of the women, where it didn't feel like we're all being grouped into this one group of like the Divas, you know? And so that was really, really cool. But I also was like, that's what I want. I wanted to be Mickie James, the superstar, not, you know, one of the divas, you know? And so I really struggled with the divas, I think, a lot on a personal, professional level, because I'm like, I'm more than just a diva. I don't want to be grouped into a group. I want to be a superstar. Like I love this and I want to be the greatest women's champion of all time. I can't do that if I'm just a diva. Like, it was so weird, but it's like, yeah. So I obviously love all the women and the divas and all that and all the women that I got to work with and that. But, you know, selfishly, I was like, no, I want to be Mickie James, you know.
When did you start to see the tides turning?
Right before I left. I mean, I felt like it was kind of turning, but it was this weird shift that was happening. And it was going more, I could feel it when it was like, hey, maybe the girls shouldn't throw punches. And I was like, I throw great punches. Great punch. I worked really hard on my punch. What do you mean not throw punches? Girls don't want to, nobody wants to see a girl get punched in the face. I'm like,
you're told to slap?
Flippers instead. What are flippers?
Flippers?
Like, who hits with their elbow? The flippers. And I tell you what, I got a bad shoulder today. Bad shoulders. Why? Flippers. Tell you. Yeah. So anyway, just little things like that, oh, no, we can't let the girls do that. Yeah. I was like, and this is coming from a time where you had already seen the women in a main event. You've already seen the women's in Falls Count Anywhere matches. You'd already seen, Trish and Lita main event the show and do that hard. You'd seen Jazz do hard. You'd seen all this. So it was like almost like we were digressing. We were going backwards, and it was away from everything that I had made a promise. You want to change the business and make it better for the women. And I was like, why are we going backwards? Oh, because the wrestling's going backwards, and it's, we're not hiring as many wrestlers. We're hiring models, and we're hiring, different folks, and nothing to them. You know what I mean? There's some of them are still my dearest friends, and there's some of them like the Candice Michelles or Kelly, or even Foxy. You look at them and they were hired under it, but they busted their ass and really dedicated themselves to the craft and to be known as a good wrestler too, But there was a lot of them there that did not care about wrestling at all. And it was so frustrating, So yeah, I think it tested me, it was a different type of test. But that was kind of like, oh, this isn't what I really want. This is what I signed up for,
So then when Evolution came around in 2018, did it finally feel like, okay, things have changed?
It certainly felt like, hey, the company, I think things had changed before that, I think it was really cool because I think it was something that all the women had really, really wanted and had hoped for a long time, is an opportunity just to do something cool and unique and really like push forward the women. And I think it was the first time the company goes like, okay, aside from, hey, we're going to do this Divas magazine or something like this was like, no, we're going to do a pay-per-view. And we're really going to highlight the women, and we're going to show what we can do if we just put on an all-female card. And it was magical, and it was an incredible night. And for everyone that showed up and showed out, and then there were so many moments within that pay-per-view. And I still think like that first one, like it was special. And it was special because I think the fans were so hungry and happy and on for the ride as well, because they were hot that night. And it was like they were as hot as they would be for any other pay-per-view that night,
I can't believe it took 7 years to do another one.
Wild.
Right.
I don't even know if we should have called, like it should have been called number 2 at this point, or if it should have been like.
Right. I thought for sure it was going to be every year.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
It would have been cool. Yeah, I kind of was hoping, I think we all were hoping like, oh, it would be, one every year, or maybe it could be one of those things of like they do it WrestleMania weekend or like SummerSlam weekend. It could be a double header or something like that. Like, well, that's okay.
Feels like maybe that's where we're at now.
Maybe.
There is a lot of wrestling right now.
Oh my gosh, there's so much wrestling.
Yeah.
It's so much wrestling. It can't keep up with it all.
It's great.
It is great.
Think of how many of your friends now
get to have jobs.
Yes.
And have a place to showcase their talents and their abilities and make a living.
Get to wrestle full time.
And not just be weekend warriors and praying for one company to give them a chance.
What was your job before you were a wrestler?
Oh God, which one? The last job I had before I got signed, the day that I could quit to go become a full-time WWE employee, independent contractor, and moved down to Louisville. I was working at Olive Garden.
As a server?
As a server.
Unlimited breadsticks and soup.
And soup and salad.
That's right.
And sometimes the pasta bowl, the unlimited pasta bowl. And I had to know all the wines and what they paired with. Yeah. I chased a whole table, a party of, I don't know, must have been 15 or 20. It was a corporate party or whatever, out the door and threw their change back at them when they tipped me like 37 cents or something.
No.
Crazy.
How much was their bill?
I think they thought that hindsight, I was broke as a joke. And, but I was really annoyed because when you have a party like that, when you're serving and you have a shift, they take up your entire shift. Right. So then that was that party and then a couple other tables for like whatever. That was my whole day that day. So I literally probably made $14 that day. But, and not the 37 cents because I threw it at them. I ran out and I almost got fired that day.
Their tip was 37 cents.
Yeah. And their bill was like, it was Olive Garden. So it was a lot of endless things that you could have.
But still in the hundreds.
It was, yeah. Yes. It was like a big party and they were having like corporate. And
oh my gosh.
And I never gratted because I always get pissed off when people automatically grat because I was like, I was going to actually tip you more than that. So I always get annoyed when people did that. So I never did it as a server. I never really did it. And I think maybe they thought that I had included it, but I did not. Anyway, so I ran out the door and threw it at them. So you keep this.
You keep your 37 cents.
Yep. And I don't need it now either.
Your quarter, your dime, and your 2 pennies. I don't want it.
What am I going to do with this?
What was the job before that?
I was working at a truck stop as a waitress. I'd moved back in with my grandma.
This is in Virginia?
This is in Virginia right before that. Before that, I had moved that. And before that, I was dancing. I was a stripper. That's what I did. And I was making bank. I was making so much money. I don't think I've ever actually talked about this publicly, and I'm talking about this with you.
So then,
I was saving this for my book because a lot of people actually know this and know this journey or whatever. But I was dancing. I was out of high school. I thought about going wanted to go to college. Didn't go to college. Couldn't afford to go to college. Parents couldn't afford to send me to college, and I failed to get the honors diploma because I failed algebra 2. I was terrible at math still to this day. Just ask my husband. But yeah, so then I got left, and then I thought about doing the Army Reserves, chickened out because if you do that, you can go to college for free, folks. But I chickened out. It was just crazy because it was right before the Gulf War. Yeah, it was that. Yeah, wow. Crazy. And I chickened out.
Think of how different your life would be.
Oh my God. And that's why I chickened out. I was like, I can't go to war. I can't kill nobody. I would if I had to. We come in my house 3:00 in the morning. you may not leave. But I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I pepped it up, whatever. I can't do this. What am I going to do? And yeah, went to, I don't know, 18, young, dumb me, whatever. But I will say, so I was dancing at a club, and that's what I was doing. But that's how I found the wrestling school, is because a friend of mine who worked the door bouncer at the club, I would, in the middle of the shift, whatever, I would be watching wrestling and the stuff. Like if it was Monday Night Raw, if it was whatever. And I'm like, I grew up a wrestling fan. I was passionate about wrestling, like loved wrestling. And now it's the Attitude Era, and wrestling is cool again. It's the coolest it's ever been, probably the coolest it will ever be. And yeah, I was watching it. And then my buddy goes, hey, my friend owns a wrestling school. It's up by DC. So it's like 2.5 hours from me. So my friend, you really love wrestling? I was like, oh my God, I love it so much. I love it so much. I always said I could be a wrestler, but yeah. And he's like, why don't you, I'll get his number or whatever. Why don't you contact, why don't you can go up there? I was like, really? I had never even heard of such a thing, And so, yeah, I went up there. It was November 98. Went up there and walked into this jujitsu boxing school that they had a wrestling. It wasn't a wrestling ring. It was a boxing ring in the back. The rope sucked, had no give. It was a terrible ring to learn in, but that's where I learned. And that's what I walked in and I saw, and I'm like, yes, I'm doing this. Came back because I was making bank.
How do you stop making bank though? How do you leave that?
I'll tell you. So, many levels to that story, but I'll tell you I remember the night to this day, and it's crazy. It's crazy. I can't believe I'm sharing this with you, but okay, whatever. Anyway, so I went back the next week, paid in full for my class. Boom, in cash.
How much was it?
I think it was $1,500.
Wow.
Yeah, paid in cash. Boom. I said, let's go, and I never looked back. Never looked back.
There has been a lot of talk about VPNs among wrestling fans recently, and it's true. You can use NordVPN to change your virtual location with just one click so you can access content that might not be available where you live. It's fast, it's secure, and you can do it on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, any device. And that's not the only thing. They keep you protected when you're online. As you know, public Wi-Fi is a spot where hackers like to camp out to try to steal your information, but NordVPN protects you from hackers and gives you peace of mind when you're using Wi-Fi that may not be secure. Head to nordvpn.com/CVV and check out these deals they have going on right now. Just a few dollars a month gives you access to content from other locations. Plus, it keeps you protected when you're surfing the old worldwide internets. Plus, Nord has a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you've got that if you decide that this isn't for you for whatever reason. Head to nordvpn.com/CVV. This is a limited time deal, so take advantage of this while this is happening right now. nordvpn.com/CVV.
And so then I'm doing that. And I'm doing both. Like I'm just, training and doing stuff. And then I'd go work wrestle in front of 50 people at the Armory. And it didn't matter that it wasn't making any money because I wasn't getting paid. I wasn't making any money really. I was still a trainee. And, I think for the first 2 years, the most I ever made was $25 to wrestle, to do anything, Yeah.
And what was your best night dancing?
Oh God, like 10 grand.
10 grand?
Yeah.
What was your worst night?
Like $1,000.
Better than $25.
Better than $25.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was stupid. I was like, ugh. But it was also a different me. I was also doing a lot of other things, extracurricular activities, things that, we'll learn about. I'll book one day maybe. But I'll say it was a life. It was a weird life. It was, and I look back and I go, oh God, thank God we didn't have social media back then, Thank God. But learning and lessons. So the way I walked away from it was not only was I was engaged to this guy at the time, and then we actually started training wrestling. He came to school and started training wrestling too. And he's not, I think I have no ill will and like amazing. I think he's moved on, kids, whatever, everything else. But he cheated on me. We broke up and all that other stuff. And I was devastated. And, then I was working in the restaurant. In the bar one night. I was at the club, at the Club, working one night, and WWE happened to be in town that night. And of course, after the show was over, I was working this night. I've never told the story and I won't say who walked in, but post show, in walks some wrestlers from television. And I could not tell you how fast I ran to the back and sat back in the back. It would not go out there. And as I'm sitting back there and they're going like, Mickie, get out there. Like, well, you should go out there. You should go talk to him. You can get a job. Like, whatever. Especially my friend who had told me to get into wrestling in the first place. Like, why aren't you going out there? I was like, they can't see me like this. They can't see me like this. I don't want to be known for this. Like, this is not how I want them. I want them to respect me. They'll never respect me. They'll never respect me if they see me like this. They're just going to think I'm a rat. They're going to think I'm this and I'm not. Like, I want to be respected, and this business means a lot to me. And I was like, I can't let them see me like this. And I wouldn't go back out there. And I actually I left and I went back home to my hotel. And I was like, I had to make a choice. And I was like, it was almost like God, I was like praying and I was like, I have to make a choice. Like, do I want wrestling? Because this easy money, but it's not going to last, and also I didn't respect myself. And I didn't respect myself, didn't love myself, didn't a lot of things myself. And I was like, if I ever want to make it in this business, I can't have both. Like, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. And I certainly don't want them to meet, so I just quit. I just walked in the next day and I said, I can't do this.
Wow.
And I couldn't afford my apartment anymore and my lifestyle or any of that stuff. And I was just like, and I had to move back in with my grandma. And I've lived downstairs and that's when I got a job at the truck stop. And I was like, I am committing a whole 1,000% to wrestling. Like, this is going to be it. Like, I'm going to make it. I have to make it. I have to make it.
And it was that one moment. If Raw hadn't been in town.
No, if they hadn't walked in that bar.
Right.
If they hadn't walked into the
or if you weren't working that night.
And they had just said the boys, the wrestlers showed you should have been here. I would have been like, oh God, I'm glad I wasn't there. Yeah, I wouldn't have. Because I think sitting back there in the locker room like this and going like, I don't want them to see me like this. Like, I was embarrassed. I was ashamed.
Your identity was already, you're a wrestler.
Yeah.
Not this.
Right. I was like, this is somebody else. Like, this isn't. And so I left and I never looked back.
Wow.
I mean, when I was stealing gas to make it to Paducah, Kentucky one time, I second guessed if this was a good choice.
Stealing gas from the truck stop?
And then I got a speeding no, from a gas station. Because it wasn't the ones, I mean, this is pre, you had to tap or anything.
Right. Pre-authorization.
Yeah, you're in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky. They probably thought I was going to come in and just pay cash after, whatever.
Yeah.
I did not. I'm so sorry. And
maybe you're still wanted for this.
Instant karma. I got probably 30, and I'm running late for a show and everything. I'm with Bobby Joe Persephone, who we do wrestling shows all the time. We traveled everywhere for our $25 everywhere. About 30 minutes later, as I'm racing through, I got a speeding ticket for 90 and a 55. Instant karma. Instant karma. So anyway, yeah. But that's how, I was broke.
If you now could go into that club and talk to that version of you back then, what would you say?
I think I was, looking for a lot of things. I didn't value myself a lot in that. And I think it took a long time for me to really, even that or through all the things, it took a long time for me to fall in love with myself as who I was. I think I spent a long time in my life escaping who I was and my history and my childhood and all these things. So if I could tell her anything, it'd be, I love you.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
You've got a hell of a story.
Crazy.
Are you writing this book?
I'm scared to write the book. I can't even healing is a journey. And I think that you think you're healed. And sometimes just when you think about it, it's just not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love you, Mickie.
Yeah. Thank you. I love you too. And I do love me as well. The good, the bad, and the ugly. You got to love them all.
When did that happen?
I don't know. I think it's something that I've, probably more recent than not,
Do you think becoming a mom
definitely
changed that?
helped? It definitely helped. I think that's the first time I really knew true love.
Yeah.
You know,
It changes everything.
It changes everything. And people say that and it's so corny. And I never really saw myself as wanting to be a mom just because of my own life. Sorry.
No. Thank you for being so open.
Oh my God. I'm surprised that I am. Because, you know, there's a reason why I haven't talked about many of these things. One, because it hurts. But two, because it's like, you know, sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm
like
sorry.
I said to you, it's okay. You don't have to apologize. I think, like you said, you spend so long, like, or at least I did. I don't know if this is true for everybody, but I spent a lot of time trying to escape who I was and still be loved, you know? And it took me to accept who I was, mistakes and all, to be loved. And the only person I really needed love was myself, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's healing is a journey. And I think that what you see, and that's why it's like what you see on screen, you don't see the full picture, you know? You don't see everything.
I've always been amazed by that,
design.
right? Like if you have a match on Monday, for example, or you have a match on Impact, people see you for 8, 10, 20 minutes a week.
Yeah.
That's it. And they think they know you.
Yeah.
And they don't see the rest of your life. They don't see the rest of the week and everything else you go through. They just see you curtain to curtain.
Mm-hmm.
And so many of you struggle with so much.
Yeah. I think that's what makes us probably, you know what? As painful or hurtful or traumatic as some of the things that, you know, I think that's what's really made me a great performer, honestly, is because of the, you know, the obstacles and the overcoming. And it's really tested me in a lot of ways of who I am as a human being.
Is it difficult when your wrestling name is Mickie James?
To separate the two?
Yes. And your real name is Mickie James?
Sometimes it's a blessing and a curse, isn't it? Because you can't escape it. It's not like I'm, you know, Alexis by, you know, over here, and then I can go home and just be me and just be Mickie James, because there is still that expectation, I suppose.
Yeah. But like when The Undertaker's The Undertaker.
Right.
We get it. He's the dead man.
Yeah. He's
But
Taker.
Mark Calloway is a completely different person.
Yeah. He's a human being.
Yeah.
You know?
But Mickie James and Mickie James, one and the same.
Yeah. And I think, you know, especially when fans are coming. Luckily, I've been a baby face for most of my career. So for the most part, I get a lot of love.
Yeah.
But like, you know, when they come at you, they're coming at you as a performer, as a person.
Yeah.
Which one is it to separate the two? You know, and it's actually probably made it easier for me to separate the two because I had to. And I had to like remind myself, they're not talking about me. They don't know me, the person. They only know what I've let them see, or what the company's let them see, or this side of me. And some of it's not all of it's real, you know, of like a real of how I really feel, or what, you know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing with Nick. Same thing with your husband.
Yeah.
Right? His real name's Nick Aldis.
I know.
Yeah.
Crazy. Good for you, babe. Smart.
How do you balance that? You know, you have your job and you're as busy as you are.
Yeah.
Nick has his job. He's as busy as he is. And you have a son and you're both trying to be there, but you're both growing in your careers.
Yeah.
How do you balance that?
I mean, that's been the story of our relationship, really. We met and we've always, I think we always kept our careers, especially when we first started dating and stuff, we kept our careers separately because, you know, he was up and coming and he was Magnus, you know, and he was,
It's a lot of man.
A lot of man. Yeah, he is. It was weird. It was like mustard biscuits. Love it.
I mean, Magnus is.
I would probably just say
one of the most jacked TNA stars of all time.
Oh, he's so handsome.
Very handsome.
Did he? I know he's told you I'm looking at him like, and that's the story on how
you guys met.
How we fell in love. No, I knew I loved him when we were in Lyon, but that's Yeah, it's I think our whole careers have been separate. There's very few stories that we've actually done together. We kept it separate in the beginning, I think, because I was already established and a household name in WWE, coming from WWE when I met him, and coming into TNA, and he was still getting opportunities and being seen, and then started doing with Doug. And I think he just didn't want to be, and nor did I, because I knew he was so good and he's so talented. Never wanted that stigma of being like, oh, Mickie James's boyfriend, or, Mr. James, God forbid, or like ever to live in a shadow of like, because our careers are so different. And then there was been very few times when we've actually done stuff together, which has been magical, but it just, it just took a while, I think. And I think now to see him on this side and doing all this, it's amazing. But our whole careers, we've been balancing this juggle act of like fitting in time for each other and stuff.
Nick plays this GM role so perfectly.
Oh my God, he's so good at it.
Because it's almost like a stern parent,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Like maybe he's borrowing that from his real life.
I don't know that he's that stern with D. He's not.
But it's like there's a fine line, right? Because he's management in this role, right?
Yeah.
Like he's calling the shots. He's not your friend, but he lays down the line.
He's the
like
boss.
lays down the law. Yes.
Yeah. I think he's really I think he's owned it, and he's so good at, like I go, he rivals like who he might rival at Teddy Long. He might, as the greatest GM of all time, in my humble opinion. And
I think that right now with Adam Pearce on Raw, with Nick on SmackDown, these are the best GMs.
Oh my gosh,
they've ever had.
It's so fun, but also in the back of your mind, you know both of them can go at any given moment.
And everybody always talks about that, right? When you've got the Raw general manager, who's the former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, and you've got the SmackDown general manager, who's a former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion.
Totally. What if they were captains of the teams for Survivor Series?
Oh, I think you're onto something, Mickie.
Yeah. Blood feud. Maybe not that part. No, that's just too far. Too far.
It is always nice, though, when Nick's in the ring.
Always.
Because
I mean, aside from when he gets like RKO'd.
That's happened a few times.
Bullshit, Randy.
Do you think Nick has another run in him?
Oh my God, yes. Oh, he's far from done. I mean, I think if he was ever given, and I would pray for like the perfect opportunity and story or whatever, but I think that if he's ever given an opportunity to put on his boots and get out in that ring, I know it would be a dream come true for him, obviously.
You heard the whispers around WrestleMania when Randy Orton needed an opponent.
Can you imagine?
He was at the top of the list.
Yeah. And my list too. No, God, yeah. Can you imagine? Oh, it would be a dream come true. I don't think you get into this business without dreaming of a WrestleMania moment. Or if you do, we're not the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you want the WrestleMania moment. You want to be the greatest of all time. You want, want.
What's your favorite Nick Aldis match of all time?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. The 10 pounds of gold stuff for me, all of that, and the traveling champion, that whole thing. I think that not only was it the best thing NWA had done in a very long time and probably has done, since, but it defined him and it separated him and it was unique in the way it was done. And it really allowed him to just be himself, to speak from the heart, to speak. And he's always been a great talker. I mean, it worked for me anyway. But to just be himself. And I was like, oh my God, it was so good. It was so good. And the people embraced it. And it was just beautiful. And it was beautifully done. And I think at that time in our lives, it was special. And Donovan was there for so much of it too with him. And I was on the road with WWE. It was just different and it was unique. And I think that's probably my favorite stuff he's ever done.
What's your favorite match?
Of mine?
Yeah.
Oh, it'll forever be me and Trish. And I think because that was the dream come true for the girl. for the little girl in me that, and it was like proving that dreams do come true and all that. So that match will always be emotionally my favorite match of all time, for sure.
So you are most certainly not retired as you sit here in front of me right now.
I'm not. I mean, I might be a little grizzled. Well, sell it, but not retired.
Retirement's an interesting word in wrestling.
I don't think people ever retire in wrestling.
Right.
I mean, the right moment, the right story, the right opponent.
Do you think about those things? Right moment, right opponent, right time?
Oh my gosh, yes. I think you're always open. I was like, even to this day, you always got to be ready. And that's like a mental crazy. Always got to be ready because you just never know. You never know. And
well, the Royal Rumble is right around the corner.
It is. It is.
I feel like,
and my shoulders feel good. So I feel like I could throw a lot of people.
How about
out.
Some flippers?
We're going to let's have it now.
But the Royal Rumble's right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like there's a chance we could see you there.
So you're saying there's a chance.
I love that movie.
So good.
So good.
So good. Yeah, could be.
So you're telling me there's a chance. Thank you.
Samsonite. I was way off.
Swimmy, swami. Dumb and Dumber is so good.
It's so great.
So good.
Oh God.
You're a legend. And
Crazy.
thank you for being so open.
Oh my God.
During this
Thank you.
conversation.
Thanks for coming all the way here to Nashville and coming to talk to me. And
of course.
I'm honored to sit down here and talk to you. You have talked to some amazing people. And I
You are
think
one of
what
them.
you're doing for us and for the business and to be able to be transparent, but also it's just really cool. And I love you as a person. I think you're awesome. So
Thank you. I love
Yeah.
you, Mickie.
yeah.
You're the best.
Yay.
What are 3 things as we sit here right now that you are grateful for? Because gratitude is such a huge part of my life.
Got to. I think every day that I get to wake up and take a breath and be a mom, I'm grateful for all of that. I'm grateful to have made it on this side of the journey because I think that I've made some decisions in my life where I go like, I'm surprised that I did make it this far. I think for my faith, I'm grateful for my faith. And I think that not just, in above and God but and that has made me keep the faith in myself as well. Even in the darkest, loneliest places, that is always there. And you can always see that. So that, I don't think I have anything that I'm not really grateful for. I'll be honest.
Beautiful thing to say.
Yeah, I'm grateful for my son and my family and all the same cliched things, but I don't think there's a moment, even the dark times that we talk about, like that I'm not grateful for because it's what made me who I am and it made me make it here. So, yeah.
Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
an incredible career.
Thank you so much.
We haven't even talked about this beautiful belt that's next to you. This is not an official.
It's not, TNA doesn't have replica belts.
Well, they should.
They should.
So
and
what's
this is the old school
Yes.
one. This is the
You can grab it.
most beautiful one.
May
if you
I
ask
hold
me.
it?
Oh my God, please feel the density in this thing. It's a legit replica belt. I have this belt. It still has the crystals taped to the back in case we lose one. So Lisa Marie, my dear friend Lisa Marie, she goes out and she's getting ready to do this thing. And I see that she has a belt in her hand. And I think Lisa is being Lisa. You've met Lisa. Yes.
She's wonderful.
She's one of the greatest people on the planet. But she, like when she does signings and appearances and stuff like that.
Oh, she's in character. She
Full gimmick.
yes.
And she has the women's
All the
championship.
gear,
She
yes.
has knockouts. She has all the things. She's ready. She's the most prepared than anyone else. So I thought she was just going out as, with the championship. And in my mind, as I'm watching her go, I'm like, why is she taking the knockouts championship out there with her? What is she doing? And then she threw her shoe and other things happen. She's the greatest. She's the greatest. And I love you. And there's nobody else that I would want to share that moment with. Because she was part of making hardcore country. Like my whole first year as hardcore country it was me and her and Madison, Anyway, she had this made for me and she gave it to me because she says I'm forever a champion and forever a knockout. So she had this made for me and gave it to me that night. So that's why I never had one. Now I have one.
Oh,
How about that?
amazing.
Yeah.
Mickie, you're the best.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you. I try. Thank you.